If there is one fact that will always remain consistent, always remain true, it is that ride sharing never presents a dull day. There is always something crazy, wacky, or outrageous to look forward to as a rideshare driver. What up, folks? Once again, it is indeed your boy Tim with another ride sharing video. This one's off the chain, folks. Hopefully this is something you as a driver never do. As my mom used to say, God don't like ugly. Don't do this. This comes from an article titled, "Parents Say Lyft Driver Took Off with Their 7-year-old son and Left Him on the Side of the Highway." But I want you to hear the facts in this case. Sounds fishy as hell to me. Let me know what you think.
A mother says she wants to ask a Lyft driver what was going through her mind when she drove off with her 7-year-old child and left the parent stranded on the side of the road. They think the driver should face charges. Channel 2's Tom Jones is live in North Fulton County in Sandy Springs. Tom, the driver told police she didn't know it was a child alone in the car.
And Linda, the parents who were stranded here on the side of 285 find that hard to believe. They say if the driver thought there were two adults in the car, she should have spoken to them or at least noticed them through the rear view mirror. They're not happy with how one police department has handled this.
You had me on the side of the road, frantic. I mean, my emotions were through the roof.
Tamisha Dixon is still angry at the Lyft driver who drove off with her 7-year-old son and left her and her fiance stranded on the side of the interstate around midnight. Jeremiah Richardson says what happened is unacceptable.
She didn't apologize. There was no sort of remorse for the action.
Their car broke down late Monday night on I-285 westbound near New Northside Drive. They called a tow truck driver. A Lyft driver arrived to take them home. Richardson says he placed his son Jackson in the back seat of the Lyft driver's car. He and Dixon then began getting their belongings out of their disabled car. That's when he says the Lyft driver sped off.
I'm like, hey, my son's in the car.
I mean, I can't believe it. My son is in the back seat.
They say they called the driver repeatedly.
No, I'm sending her multiple messages.
They say she never answered. They called 911. The couple saw on the Lyft app that driver was headed to their home in Cobb County. Cobb police met the driver there. Officers say the driver told them she knew someone got in her car, but didn't know it was a child. But Jackson says she talked to him.
She said, "Do you want a blanket?"
The parents want the driver to face charges. They also want the driver to explain what happened.
What were you thinking to drive off with my 7-year-old son and to not even answer your phone?
And Lyft says it investigated and found no intent to harm. Now, Cobb police said it didn't file any charges because this was intentional. Now, because this happened in Sandy Springs, police are investigating. They say that investigation is ongoing. We're live in North Fulton County in Sandy Springs. Tom Jones, Channel 2 Action.
Now, the Lyft driver stated to police that she did not know the child was alone in the vehicle. Pull up to the scene. There is a stalled vehicle. You got a parent, fiance, and a 7-year-old child that's waiting there for you to arrive. The child gets in the vehicle. You drive off and your response is, "I didn't know. I only have one kid in my car," and that both adults never entered the vehicle. How the hell does that happen? Does that not smell like a fresh load of steeping bullshit on a hot summer day? Does anybody believe that? Apparently so. Law enforcement decided not to charge this Lyft driver under the grounds that it was not intentional. And it does also sound like Lyft did not hold this woman accountable. And we know Lyft and Uber takes us off the damn app for virtually any damn thing. Even if it rains outside. Well, you got deactivated because it's raining too damn much. So how did she escape being held accountable for this at all? Now, I want my veteran drivers, my folks that are tuning in, do you agree with the parent that this driver should be facing some type of charges? Yours truly, I don't know what you could charge her with, other than, I suppose, kidnapping perhaps. But the idea that us as rideshare drivers, and once again for my veteran drivers, when you pick someone up, do you not turn around and look at the passenger getting in your vehicle? Maybe give them a nice salutations or greetings, how you doing, have a nice day when they get out or something, and make eye contact. After all, good service is how we get tipped, and we damn sure drive for tips. To have someone get in your car and you not even do so much as make eye contact and you drive off, right off the bat, that's bullshit customer service. At least say hello to who is in your vehicle. Now, that's assuming what the Lyft driver said is true, that she didn't know who was in her car. But you see in the video where the little 7-year-old boy, looking innocent as hell, says, she asked me, did I want a blanket? You think that boy's lying about that? Hell no. Looks as innocent as can be. Telling the newscaster, you know, she turned around and asked me, did I want a blanket? That woman knew she drove off with that shorty in the car and realized what she was doing. Now, what do you think happened? What would make her take off and run away with this kid? Obviously, she took the child to the actual destination, so she wasn't trying to, you know, take the kid or kidnap the child. My humble opinion, because we've done numerous videos like this about people putting shit in your car that you don't want in it. Our job is to take a passenger from point A to point B. We are not freight haulers, medical transports, or any of that other bullshit. Get in our vehicle, human only. We don't want all the extra cargo. If you listen to the story, the mom states they put the child in the vehicle, then they went back to their disabled car to get stuff out of their disabled car, and she drove off. If I had to make a guess, based on how yours truly and many other rideshare drivers feel about people putting a bunch of shit in our car, she saw them coming with something she didn't want to put in her car, and she actually drove off without asking the kid to leave first. Figuring that I'll just say I didn't know they weren't in here. I'm gonna take him to the actual destination and drop them off, but I don't want all that shit they're taking out of their other car to put in mine. That's what I truly believe happened. Now, the mom did not state what they were taking out of their car. The mom or the fiance didn't state what they were bringing out of their disabled vehicle to put in the other vehicle. But I truly believe that is why the Lyft driver took off, is because I came to pick you guys up, not all the freight and stuff you're trying to unload out of your car and put in mine. Could have been anything, dirty tires, tire jack, something that's not clean or something like that. As a rideshare driver, the last thing I want is something in my vehicle that's going to dirty up the vehicle, potentially scratch the upholstery and seats, or leave a hell of a lot of mess behind that I got to vacuum up. We talk about it all the time. We don't get reimbursed from that. And we have to take our car out of service to clean it because the next passenger is not going to want to sit in a bunch of bullshit. So let's say, for instance, you need to change the battery in your vehicle. You take a dirty ass battery out of your car, and now you want to put it in mine so we can go to AutoZone somewhere for you to replace the battery. I don't want a battery sitting on a seat or something, putting indentations and things like that. A lot of folks do test our limits. Veteran drivers, I'm sure you've had people put shit in your car that you don't want in there. I got a spare tire that I need to go and have patched up. You show up and he wants to roll a dirty ass tire in your backseat. That stuff happens. My guess is this woman saw these folks bringing something, because remember, they put the child in the vehicle and both of them were still outside of the vehicle going to get stuff out of the other vehicle. So they clearly had freight. This woman probably did not want that freight in her car and she drove off. You can't drive off with somebody else's shorty. That's against the law. She should have asked the kid to step out for a minute. She could have made up an excuse for why. But this gets worse because they're on the side of the damn highway. So you can't just put a kid out on the side of the highway. Everything about it is bad. This Lyft driver probably should have canceled the trip. Now, I've talked about it in my previous video, and we're going to talk about this in a video specific to the subject. It's dangerous to cancel trips. There's no other way to say it. Canceling trips can bring out the worst in passengers. Certainly in this case, they're stranded by the damn highway, and you start canceling the trip, meaning that her and that 7-year-old boy has to stand by the side of the highway even longer. They may get angry and start doing things. It's dangerous to cancel trips. So I personally advise making up excuses. The engine light is on, I got a personal emergency at home, something like that, where the passenger doesn't realize you just want to get out of the damn trip. Don't cancel the trip because the passenger's arguing with you or something like that, because it can lead to disgruntled, angry, and aggressive passengers. This woman didn't want to move their shit. That's why she took off with the shorty in the car. Now, the idea that she didn't know somebody else was in her car when you got the kid on there talking about she offered me a blanket, to me that alone says she's full of shit. But the mom goes, what was going through her mind? Well, she didn't want the rest of your freight in her vehicle. But I want to ask you folks, what do you think? Because not only did she take off with a 7-year-old in her car, you see the mom stated that she was actually trying to call the driver on the phone over and over again. Now, us rideshare drivers, there's no denying, you know when you're receiving a call from Uber or Lyft. They have a certain area code that they're using. You know that's a call coming from the ride-sharing companies. You know that shit. This woman was deliberately not answering her phone. There's no denying about that at all. How she escaped being charged with any damn thing or being held accountable still, in my opinion, remains surprising. Probably because the police do not know what it's like being a rideshare driver. But if this mom can show she was calling this guy calling this woman over and over again and she was not answering the phone, you got the kid right there saying she looked me in the face and asked, do you need a blanket? The idea that she didn't know somebody was in her car, everything about this says she was lying about that. She knew she had a child in there and drove off anyway. You think I'm getting it wrong? Let me know in the comments. What do you think? Think this woman should spend some time in jail? They didn't even deactivate her from the app, which is Uber's signature response to any and all bullshit that takes place. They jump up all the time, well, we permanently removed the person from the app. They didn't even take mama off the app, so this woman can still drive around and take somebody else's kids in the future. What do you think? It's your boy Tim. As always, subscribe to the damn channel, and I'll see you in the next video.
For the love of money.